Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honourable Minister for Economy, Honourable Cabinet members, Ministers, Honourable Leader of Opposition, and Honourable Members of Parliament. Before I go on with my speech, Madam Speaker, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Fiji Roads Authority for the maintenance and road upgrading in the Tasiri province. The Tasiri is the second biggest province in Fiji, and the government has been taking care of this province. No ever government has been done it before. This government has done a lot in the Tasiri. Madam Speaker, as the Honourable Attorney General and Minister of Economy has already said, this is a budget for empowerment. How true that is. It is a budget which takes us further down the road of developing our country and empowering the people of Fiji to live better and more productive lives. Fiji is a country rich in natural potential and in human resources. However, this is a work in progress, and for years of maladministration, the Bainimarama government has steadily worked at targeted and achievable progress in key areas. This budget is another key step in that direction. I like to use the analogy of farming. At its most basic, a good farmer clears the land of rubbish and carefully prepares the soil so his crop will take root or germinate. He then carefully fertilizes the soil and plant his crop. But that is not all. He must then keep the crop free of weeds and pests which might destroy or reduce his crop. Finally, when the crop is ready, it be harvested and taken to market. Yes, Madam Speaker, so it is with our national economy and our national well-being. We must first clear away the rubbish of the past and rid ourselves of wasteful and unhelpful practices. We must provide circumstances where our people are sufficiently knowledgeable to select the right crop or other area of productivity and put in place the techniques and resources which enable them to flourish. There is no longer any place for short-sighted thinking and the strangling weeds of nepotism, cronyism, and corruption. We must start from a clear and well-prepared field and ensure every step along the way is taken to ensure a good harvest for each family and the nation as a whole. The same applies to agriculture, fisheries, forestry, and other forms of businesses. We need to equip our people with advanced skills and best practices to make our economy grow. That is why education for every citizen, not just the privilege, is so critical. That is why our education should be a continuing, lifelong process, so we enhance our skills and knowledge and keep abreast of our world best practice. I'm very happy that the 2018-2019 budget allocation, Fijian education will be a record amount, 22% of national expenditure for education will improve the prospects of our children and help build the national economy. Without this emphasis on education, this essential preparation for life and national development, we will continue to underachieve. It is a core plank in the Fiji First philosophy that all Fijians, regardless of ethnicity, social status, wealth, or place of residence, should have a good basic education and the opportunity to continue to improve their education throughout life. This is what we firmly believe that this is what we will do. I'm particularly proud and encouraged by the additional funding for training of additional teachers and for upgrading the skills and qualifications of existing teachers and civil servants. No sector within a community can afford the rest of the laurels and continue to just scrape by. We must all strive to be the best we can do. We should never allow our decisions. Our noteworthy example is the target funding for sugar industry to make it more competitive in an already very competitive international market. It is no good producing a good crop if you cannot sell it for a decent price. It helps no one if our cane farmers are impoverished and discouraged into leaving the industry. Fiji First is right behind our cane farmers and the whole sugar industry. We want it to succeed and prosper because that is good for the nation as a whole. So many people, such as mill workers, cane cutters, machinery mechanics, merchants, and many others, depend on this industry. Fiji First stands shoulder to shoulder with them. I commend the new budgetary allocation to cover the cost of initial development, cost and premiums for home and crop insurance. As we know, the cost of natural disaster is a heavy and sometimes insurmountable burden for the victims. It is right that we should look at formulating decent and affordable insurance cover. As we all know, natural climate events are a fact of life in this part of the world, and we should facilitate the alleviation of the risk in the national interest. I note with great interest the allocation of 97 million on funding to build up the goat industry. Not only should Fiji be self-sufficient in red meat and milk, but also look to take advantage of the rapidly growing international market for those products. I consider this industry properly resolved and managed as enormous potential. After commendable initiative is to improve the national dairy herd by eliminating tuberculosis and brucellosis infected cattle and providing high-quality replacement cattle. This is an informed and educated Fiji will contribute to solving or reducing these problems. Once we plant the seed of education, we must keep the crop growing until it reaches its full potential. It is something we must be tended lovingly. Not many families can afford to give their children a good education and keep them in education without the help of government. This is all more so after students leave school. I commend the TELS and National Topper Scheme. We must give every student every chance to reach their true potential, or we will simply waste our best resource, our young people. We can no longer afford to channel our education budget down the path of inequality to improve the prospects of already privileged members in our society. The Fiji First philosophy stands to a fair chance for every child. Madam Speaker, the Bainimarama government are good farmers. We must not let politics dictate how we cultivate and produce a national crop. As the Honourable Attorney General and Minister of Economy has said in this excellent budget speech, every step forward must be properly informed and based on rational decision-making in the national interest. We need to objectively identify our strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities to come up with the best tactics to take our country forward. We must be ruthless in prevention and eradication of the weeds and pests which will restrict the way forward. Just in education, the budgetary allocation for agriculture are the subject of carefully considered and calibrated, essential step in attaining self-sufficiency in dairy products and mitigating a potential public health risk. In the fisheries sector, a new allocation has been made to develop a new local fish source. Farm fish offer great potential as a source of high-quality, healthy protein, and by providing rural communities with an alternative income and employment stream. Aquaculture is widely practiced in many overseas countries, and there is no reason why it should not be successful in Fiji. Madam Speaker, the process of structured national growth and development from the ground roots up is one of the greatest achievements of the Bainimarama government. Enormous progress has already been made, and this 2018-2019 budget will take the nation further along the right path. We owe it to the nation, to our children, and their children. To succeed in this endeavor, I sincerely urge our opposition to get behind the endeavor in a show of national unity in such an important task. To succeed in that endeavor, we need to step away from the evil of self-interest, nepotism, and corruption of the past. We need to approach this task with policies based on facts and reason and honesty. Madam Speaker, I sincerely believe this is what this budget does and commend it to the House. Before I sit down, may I express my personal thanks and appreciation to the Honourable Attorney General and Minister for Economy and his staff for their excellent work in preparing this budget. Thank you, Madam Speaker.